Welcome. My name is Jennifer Raye, and in today's video I'm going to discuss the forward fold in the yin yoga practice called caterpillar. So caterpillar is a basic forward fold that helps to open the back line of the body where the urinary bladder meridian lies in the Chinese system. It is a basic forward fold, but it is one of the more difficult forward folds that we have within the yin yoga style. And so I'll also offer a number of modifications that you can use instead. Caterpillar is a forward fold with the legs extended. It opens the back line of the body, so things like the Achilles tendon and the hamstring group. It also helps to open the musculature that runs up along either side of the spine. This is where the urinary bladder channel runs in the Chinese system. So to start, I bring my legs right out in front of me, like so. Now you can bring your feet out in front of you like so, or you could bring the feet a little bit wider. It's not so important to have the feet all the way together. Now notice here that I'm sitting up on something. You are welcome to sit directly on the floor as long as you have the forward tilt in the pelvis. So with the forward folds, we are looking for a little bit of a forward tilt in the pelvis in order to take some of the strain out of the lower back. Now, if your hamstrings are tight, chances are the hamstrings are pulling the pelvis backwards into a posterior tilt, creating a kind of rounding in the lower back. And so sitting up on something really helps to encourage the forward tilt of the pelvis. So play around with the height there. And then as you come forward, as you fold forward, you're welcome to either keep the spine upright or you're welcome to round the spine as you fold. If you round forward and drop the head, you'll be starting to bring the stretch into the lower back and into the musculature on either side of the spine. This is, of course, where the urinary bladder channel runs. Now, this isn't appropriate for people who are working with already quite a bit of rounding or kyphosis in the upper back, so a tendency to slouch forward this way. In that case, you'll want to work at lengthening the spine upwards and broadening across the chest. Now, if you do end up folding forward or rounding forward, be sure that you don't collapse into the diaphragm right near the lower ribs. There's a tendency for students to really drop and collapse right into the diaphragm area, and that will, of course, inhibit breathing. Now, as you come forward, you can also support the head. You could use something like a bolster. So you could place the bolster right out in front of you like so, bringing the bolster right to the area beyond the hairline. And then from here, you would just support. If you're coming down further, you could support with your hands like so, or even support the head on a block. If you're coming all the way down, then of course you could also support your head on your legs. And if you have a history of hamstring injury, it's probably a good idea to support underneath the knees. This is also true if you have some hyperextension in your legs and knees. Okay, so from here, I would just place a little bit of support underneath the knees like so, and then I would come forward into the forward fold. This also helps if you do have tight hamstrings. So you could bend the knees really generously here as well. So maybe just a little bend or even more so. You bring the feet wider, keep the knees bent, and then fold forward from here. Some people find that this helps to access the lower back and just really takes the hamstrings totally out of the equation. There are a few other variations that you can use if the full seated forward fold of caterpillar is not available. The first is to simply throw the legs up the wall in legs up the wall pose. And I do have a video all about that posture, and I'll include the links below that you can explore. The other option is to come down on your back. So in that case, I just come down to my back here. I extend one leg and I draw the other leg into my body. From here, I loop the strap on the heel and I extend the leg up towards the sky. As I press out through both heels, I'm lengthening now the back line of the leg. So the heel here is directly over the hip, and I lengthen the Achilles tendon, the back of the knee, and the hamstring. So this is a nice option for those folks who can't do the seated forward folding, especially if there's a concern about lower back issues. This posture is a really nice release for the lower back, as well as, of course, opening the back line of the legs and the urinary bladder channel. So from here, of course, I would do both sides, releasing and extending the leg upwards. Okay, so this is a little bit more of a yang posture, so you may not hold the pose for quite as long as the yin style postures, and of course you would practice both sides. And then once you're done here, I go ahead and release, I roll to one side, and I come up for my next yin yoga posture. Whichever variation you're in, as always, you want to take the yin yoga pose for a number of minutes depending on the sensation that you're experiencing. Never staying as long as you start to feel too much sensation or anything that feels like pain. So anything that feels sharp or shooting or electrical, these are sensations that are telling you to move out of the posture. Okay, so once you've stayed for a little while, maybe increasing the time as you practice yin yoga, you can slowly roll yourself back up. And then you can take a counter pose by simply placing your hands behind you and lifting the chest up, taking a deep breath into the front of the body. So that's the yin yoga posture of caterpillar. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave any questions and comments below. And be sure to get over to jenniferraye.com where you can sign up for my mailing list and I can keep sending you yoga practices and yoga tips. Thanks again for watching and see you very soon.